Hey everyone. So over in the membership area, I was giving a suggestion to somebody to extend their canvas as a potential way to add some gravitas, to add some oomph to their image. And extending a canvas is pretty easy if you have the right circumstances, and it's terribly difficult if you do not. So if you want to make something have a bigger backdrop, it's easy if you have negative space like we do here. Here we have an allium with a little water droplet, and then because I was shooting my 135 at f1.8, it was very soft in the background, and so I have this nice blurry stuff that makes extending a canvas much easier. If I had cropped this in tightly or shot it tightly where the crop line, in camera was really close to the edges, it would be very hard. I would have to cut it out and then put it on another background. It would be a lot more steps, but this makes it easy. So let me show you how to do it. The first thing I want to do is to go to Image, Canvas Size. And this is going to work with the canvas. So this is working with the background. This is what everything else is on top of. And right now I have 5596 pixels wide and 5596 pixels tall. And I don't want to add the extra all the way around. I only want to add it to the right and left sides and the top. And so you look at your anchor point here, and I'm going to hit the bottom, middle, and basically that says I'm going to add stuff to the sides and to the top, but not the bottom. It doesn't matter what color I have chosen. I'm just going to have white. And now I have to figure out how much I want to extend it. So let's just say we're going to go 8,000 on each. So I want it to be 8,000 pixels wide and 8,000 pixels tall. So when I hit OK, it's going to add white to the sides and the top, like this. Now I have some real estate to work with, and now I can recrop and fill in the space that's left over by the white new background. So let's go to my crop tool, and I'm going to choose a square because I'm still going to maintain the square crop. And now I can kind of come in here and move it around and decide how much negative space I have. So let's just pretend that this is what I want. Okay. So now I'm going to hit OK or hit the check mark, either one. Now I have to fill in this space somehow, and you could use it a couple of different tools. You could use the clone stamp tool, but I have a way that makes it a little bit less messy and a little bit easier. It will stretch the pixels though, so you do have to kind of be careful. If there's something funky going on, you want to zoom in to see how the stretched pixels look, but this is the way that I prefer to do it for something like this. I'm going to grab my marquee tool, and I'm going to go to the edge of my picture and just pull down a rectangle like that. Now I want to hit Command T for transform, and I'm going to hit the Shift key, and I'm just going to pull it over and hit Enter or Return. And when I do this, you can see that it stretched the pixels. Whoops. It stretched the pixels over, and so it does have kind of funky bokeh. We can go in and randomize that later by using the clone stamp tool, the patch tool, but it gets me a good starting point. And now I still have that active, so I'm just going to grab the marquee tool again, go like that, select something along the top, Command T, Shift, click, and hold and drag, and then hit Enter. And so what that does again is it extends and grabs it and drags it up. So it is stretching those pixels. You can see how blurry pixels are much easier to do this with than if you have a lot of detail. If you're stretching something that you can see clearly, it is going to be a mess, and you're going to have to come up with another option because this won't be the best one. So let's say we don't have a lot to stretch here. We just have a little narrow band. Same thing, Command T, Shift. I hold the Shift key down and then drag it, and then hit Enter. So, okay, so now we've extended it, and it's still a little bit, we've got like this green thing that's been extended, but I wanted you to see that it isn't always perfect. And so now if you want to kind of preserve your data, you can go ahead and duplicate this layer just so you have a fallback, to go back to. And then I can use the patch tool, and sometimes the patch tool works, sometimes it doesn't, so we'll try it. But I can go in here and I can try to randomize things a little bit. maybe take the clone stamp tool and where you choose an area and then you kind of clone on top of it. I'm using the option key. Oops, spinning ball of death. Got to wait for that to catch up. But you use the option key to select what is going to be copied, and then you just go ahead and so select there, and then I can just kind of randomize. You know, it's bokeh, right? I could add a Gaussian blur layer. I could do a lot of things, but I'm just trying to, you know, kind of randomize things. Now that's looking less and less random. It's looking more and more like I did something. So maybe grab the patch tool again. Whoops, that one I went too far. Like that maybe. You see how I'm doing that? It's just, I'm just randomizing it. I'm trying to make it not look quite so computer stretched or generated. There's a little bokeh ball over here. I could maybe clone it over here. But there's a lot I could do, but we're just going to play a bit like this. You see, I'm not super precise, and I don't need to be, but maybe this being stretched is too obvious. So maybe I just get rid of the entire bokeh ball. Anyway, you can just continue on your merry way. And one of the things that can help if you find that there is just some randomness happening that just looks too computer generated or patched or cloned, you can always put a texture on top of this. And that can help to blur and soften some of that. So I could go to File, Open, and I just have a folder on my Dropbox here at the bottom. Let's see if I can find it. They're all alphabetized, textures, you know, and let's just grab a texture. It doesn't even matter. I'm just going to grab a texture and Command A, Command C, and Command V to paste ACV, like apple cider vinegar. Command A, Command C, Command V, apple cider vinegar, to remember how to put a texture on. You know, and then I can stretch this all over the top. If you shift and hold, it will stretch it. And then hit like soft light maybe, and then lower the opacity. You know, you can start to add a little bit of something going on there. That's of course going to help cover what you're doing. And this may not be the very best texture for this. I could be a little bit more specific about what I was using, but I wanted to show you that you can make things appear like they were this size originally with a little bit of imagination. So I hope that helps everyone. Thanks, guys.